What's up, everybody? Gotta work on the intro. I'm Kasey. This is my office. It's a 2001 Subaru Forester with a full STI exhaust, as you might be able to hear. I'm gonna start doing this vlogging series just for fun, and if something cool or awesome comes out of it, then hey, that's awesome. I'm gonna try and make it just so that I am driving while this is going on. Dingleberry in the friggin' truck, blocking my view. But yeah, you know, if you want to know anything about me, about my car, about where I live, whatever, feel free to ask. I'm gonna try not to ramble a lot. If you recognize me from another channel, then you'll know that I ramble quite a bit, or I usually do. I gotta get that rattle fixed. Just an insulation deal. And I could also go a little less hard on the gas. I just like the way that car sounds. I'm basically going to be talking about whatever is important to me. Kind of taking the Philip DeFranco approach. But much love, Philly D. I'm not trying to rip you off or nothing. I am a huge NASCAR fan, both mentally and physically. Racing is in my blood. I love anything to do with motorsports. Not a big fan of motorcycles, so I don't really care for like MotoGP or whatever. But I respect the crazy people that ride those motorcycles at insanely high speeds on two wheels and somehow don't fall off. They're like horizontal when they turn. I know it's all friction and physics at work, but I wouldn't have the physical ability to do that. I'm a fat guy. You know, I can sit down and turn. But even that takes a lot when you have a car with a lot of grip. But basically, what I wanted to talk about my first vlog, or my first time talking to you, the audience, that may or may not be interested in this, is the Drive for COPD 300 at Daytona Motor Speedway, Daytona International Speedway, last Saturday, where Kyle Larson's car went into the catch fence and basically sheared into a third from the firewall forward, and debris, considerably large chunks of debris were thrown into the, you know, the viewing audience, the crowd. There we go, that's the word I was struggling for. And I believe 28 people were injured, which should not happen, but I'm not going to start boycotting NASCAR because the people know when they go to the track, they know that that might happen. It's terrible that it might happen, but it really should be a thing that, you know, you accept. Like, you should maybe not sign a contract, but like, you should have to, I don't know, you should have to like sign a waiver or something that just says, you know, hey, I understand the risks of, you know, going to the track. You know, you know, final destination like moment may occur, even though that's completely bogus what happened in that movie. But physics involved, people just physics don't apply in Hollywood. But I think very technically, when it comes to sorting things out, I'm a scientist at heart. So, you know, at the race. It is unfortunate, and yes, NASCAR needs to develop a new catch fence system, because the poles, wires, and mesh fence is kind of outdated. You know, the walls were just concrete walls, you know, 10 years ago. Now they're soft walls, and they're energy absorbing, and they take a lot of the impact, combined with the car hitting the wall. They take a lot of the impact away from the driver and the bits that matter. And with what happened with Kyle Larson's car, if you watch the video, I'll see if I can put a link in the description. He gets hit from behind on the left rear bumper, and kind of shot up the track, up towards the outside of the track, and then another car hits him and kind of upsets the balance of the car, and you can see the air. Well, you can't see the air, but when you're going that fast, the car acts like a wing, especially when it's backwards and going that fast. The air plays a big role in what happens to the car, and the air just kind of packs up underneath all the crevices. If you've ever seen the underside of a car, then you know that it's not flat. Or on most cars, it's not flat. Some of them do have flat. They're called under trays for aerodynamic stability and stuff like that. But at the same time, if the cars did have those under trays, they'd be in the air even more often because they spin. And I'm not going to get off track. I'm going to try. But the Le Mans cars and stuff have the under trays, and the road racing cars, most of them have the under trays, because those cars don't bump into each other as often, and they don't spin at such high speeds that NASCAR vehicles do. You can put a NASCAR vehicle backwards at 180 miles an hour and it won't lift off the ground, yet you put one of those Le Mans cars sideways or backwards at 130 or 140 and they'll lift off because of the flat bottom, and it just acts like a wing and kind of whee. But what happened with Kyle Larson's car is the air got underneath it and it packed into all the crevices and all the little the little pockets that are underneath the car, and it just lifted it up off the ground, and that kind of combined with the hit that made him do that, the car kind of frisbees through the air. It kind of like flat spins. It doesn't roll or pitch or anything. It just kind of, does one of those. And it ends up going nose first into one of the catch fences. And there's actually a still that someone got with, a traditional camera, not a video camera. And you can see the entire front end kind of wrapped around the pole. But those cars are made to break apart like that. And then when you introduce like the catch fence, it acts like a giant cheese grater, and the car is the cheese. It just doesn't, it doesn't really work that well. Because then that is the recipe for sending debris into spectators, into the fans. But the car, like, I heard people say, oh no, the cars aren't safe. The new cars that they use in the Busch Series, the new cars that they use, if this happens in the Cup Series, they're not safe. The K-frame, or the front clip K-frames for front-wheel drive car, the front clip of that car is meant to do that. It's meant to come apart, and it's meant to separate from the chassis. That's why when Indy cars crash, the wheels fly off, and they, it's a big production. There's little bits of carbon fiber flying everywhere, but it's kind of, it's a dramatic thing that you see happen, but it's supposed to, and it's all in the name of energy absorption. It's all in the name of absorbing that impact, absorbing the energy, and keeping the car, or keeping the driver who is firmly belted in intact and alive and okay. Kyle Larson climbed out of the car like nothing happened. can't tell if it's the left or right side wheel of the car, but it's just the whole suspension and everything is just laying on the ground right at the catch fence. Like on the fan side, where the fans can go. And it's terrifying to even think that an engine, and yes, it's a racing engine, so it's light, but it's not like, you know, oh, I can look at this, I'm picking up a racing engine. It's, you know, it still weighs 300 to 400 pounds. And, you know, it weighs as much as, you know, a V8 for NASCAR weighs as much as, you know, like a 4-cylinder, an aluminum 4-cylinder for like a, you know, a Subaru or something, because the engine, I have an engine in the back of my car. No, it doesn't run. It's not a mid engine or a rear engine, but it's disassembled, and each side, each block, each side of the case weighs 25 pounds, and then the crank is like, you know, another 25 pounds. So that's about 75 pounds right there. Then all the internal crap, the heads, everything like that, it adds up to about, you know, 350 pounds. You know, I can lift it into the back of the car myself, but, you know, just barely. It's not something that's pleasant or fun. But, you know, that 400-pound chunk of, you know, metal is flying through the air, and it could, with the momentum that it has from traveling so fast, it could really do something. It could really hurt people, and that's bad. They really need to figure out something to keep, you know, large debris from penetrating the catch fence. When it comes to, you know, what actually happened, one of the tires, and when I say tire, I don't mean just tire, I don't mean like the big piece of rubber that's around the rim, I mean, you know, I should say a hub assembly and wheel and tire, because the hub assembly, which is like the bearing that makes the wheel spin, one of the front ones, and some suspension components, a brake rotor, which is heavy as shit. For racing, it's not, but it's still heavy, you know, especially at Daytona. They don't run big brakes. Well, they don't run massive brakes. It weighs less than a normal car because it's for racing use. And weight is the name, you know, saving weight is, you know, name of the game right there. But when it comes to, you know, the brake rotor is probably, you know, anywhere between, you know, 5 and 10 pounds. The brake caliper, which was still attached, is, you know, probably another 20 pounds, 15 pounds. The wheel and tire itself is about 65 pounds. And then the various suspension components that were, you know, still attached, shock absorber, blah, 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 all that stuff. You know, that adds up to, you know, 100, 150 pounds flying through the air at somebody's body. That's a big deal. That's not fun. And it hit people. They're gonna be okay, but still, that's, you know, that's something that shouldn't happen. There shouldn't be large chunks of debris. There shouldn't be any debris flying into the fans, but even then, there should not be the whole right front of a car flying into the fence, into the crowd. I'm trying to fight off a sneeze here. But still, that shouldn't happen, and NASCAR really does need to figure something out. So I'm gonna end this because I've rambled quite a bit. That was not my objective. But I saw a Volvo 240. I like it. But I'm probably gonna keep, you know, the 15 to, you know, 16-minute window for most of my videos, because I know a few shows that run 15 minutes, and, you know, I'd like to, you know, I'm like, I want to watch more. So if I ever get to be, you know, a famous YouTuber, then I would, you know, I don't want to be famous, first of all, but, you know, if people like my stuff, I'll keep doing it. I highly doubt that this will be successful. If it is, awesome. If you like this, go ahead and like it. Husky dog. husky dogs. Awesome. Nothing better than one husky dog too. I like huskies. If you like this, give it a like. If you don't like it, give it a dislike. Questions, comments, grievances, you know, anything. Feel free to post in the comments. I'm not gonna, you know, make it only positive comments. If you want to call me a fat ass, go right ahead. If you want to call me a, you know, a dashing gentleman, go right ahead. You know, I don't care. This is for me, not you. I'm not trying to please you. I'm trying to pass the time when I'm driving, and which is all the time, and you know, just have a little bit of fun and voice my opinion. And even if it just helps one person, then that's good. So, not to sound defensive, you know, like mommy just hit daddy at the dinner table, or the other way around, daddy just hit mommy at the dinner table. But feel free, comment, whatever. I already said that. So, this has been Kasey.